Ever since the announcement of Android Wear in March 2014, I knew someday I would be a proud owner of a Moto 360. And after many months of waiting, it is finally here. Talking about the design, yes, the Moto 360 is every bit as beautiful as the pictures make it out to be. Motorola is only selling the silver bezel model in India, and it's fairly attractive with the leather strap that comes out of the box. You can also put a metal strap and make it look like a classy timepiece. It's comfortably light at 49 grams, and because it's round, it feels more comfortable to wear than a square watch. And yes, there is a tiny black bar at the bottom that cuts away the display, but it does not bother me one bit. An ambient light sensor sits in there, which automatically adjusts the brightness depending on the lighting. This is elementary in a smartwatch. It bumps the brightness so that the display is adequately visible outdoors and drops it down in low lighting, thereby saving some battery. There are some times though when I felt that the auto brightness was conservative, making the display look a little dimmer than what it could be. My only trouble with the display is its comparatively low 205 ppi pixel density. Now that we're used to seeing high resolution displays, seeing pixels again after so long is a bit displeasing. Having said that, the text is fairly legible. The touch sensitivity is like any modern capacitive phone display. There is a button at the side that lets you turn the display on and off, but I rarely use it because there are two simpler ways of doing the same thing. The best thing to do is to simply raise your hand like how you usually do when you're seeing the time. Or you can just tap on the display. I feel that the button on the side could be put to some better use in the future. Let's talk about software. It's running basically version 1.0 of Android Wear, which seems to be a subset of Android 4.4 KitKat. Thankfully, common sense prevailed while designing this new wearable operating system, as it is simple and unobtrusive to use. The entire OS is based on a concept of cards that you can browse by either scrolling up or down. You can swipe sideways to take actions. For example, if you get a Twitter notification, you get options to reply by voice, retweet, favorite, or open it on the phone. By default, every app notification that lands up on your Android phone will show up on the wrist. But app developers can add a few lines of code and make it interactive. Right now, Gmail lets you archive emails, or Facebook Messenger lets you send a thumbs up as a reply to an instant message. The sky is the limit to what you can potentially do on your wrist. Also, you don't have to install watch apps separately. If they're on your phone and provided they are Android Wear ready, they are on your watch. And because Android Play Store is one of the biggest app stores out there, I'm hopeful we'll see a lot more Android Wear apps in the future. Swiping a card the other way not only clears it from your watch but also from your smartphone. Except for those seldom times when I have no notifications, these cards occupy half of the screen, overlapping the watch face. Thus, even though there are some really beautiful watch faces Motorola has put in the Moto 360, most of them almost always get covered by these notification cards. Thus, I end up using a watch face that only uses half of the screen. Because this is a smartwatch in the truest sense, I love some of the smart things it can do. For example, say OK Google when the screen is lit, and it's almost the same functionality as Google Now on a smartphone. You can send text messages, find out bite-sized information like how tall is the Eiffel Tower or what is 249 times 61 and much more. Using the Navigate to command will not only open the Google Maps application on your phone, but also show you live direction symbols and distances on the watch with intuitive graphics above. This is especially great for bikers. But like version 1.0 of any software, it is bound to have some rough edges. There is a bit of a lag while swiping through cards, and I'm not sure if this is a Motorola problem or a Google problem. The UI is usable, but it isn't as butter smooth as a flagship smartphone. And while there is no doubt that Google provides the best vocal recognition of my Indian accent, there were a few times when the watch couldn't catch my voice commands accurately. For example, it would just leave my queries midway if I spoke too slow. On the bright side though, I was blown away by how accurately it could decipher when I spoke really fast. Then there are some other tiny bugs that I'm confident are just a software update away from being fixed. But there are some things that I don't know if a software update can fix. The step counter is horribly inaccurate, for example, but this was reported with every Android Wear device. The heart rate sensor was hit or miss, and although I'm not a doctor, there were a few times that I felt the heart rate was way lower than what I thought it would be. I honestly don't see the practical benefit of knowing my heart rate. I'd rather appreciate if a watch could tell me if I'm ever having a heart attack. You'd think this crazy functionality must certainly take a hit on battery life, and it does. Here's the bad news. If you want to use this watch the way Google advertises Android Wear, then you have to carry that small wireless charging cradle with you at all times. I usually got a working day's battery life, that is, say from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with active use. This is with ambient mode turned off, which means the display turns off entirely after a few seconds, and with the brightness set to auto. But that's with me constantly admiring it for every few minutes. So once the buzz dies down, I'm guessing it would last a little longer. There is no doubt that you have to charge this thing every night at least. Now for some good news. You can put 80% of the juice back in this watch in an hour. Though it still sucks that now I have one more device other than my smartphone and my laptop that I have to worry about running dry. Which brings us to the conclusion. Iron Man was a 2008 blockbuster movie that made the character my favorite superhero. It wasn't just because of his ability to fly or have incredible amounts of strength, but because the technology shown in the movie felt believable to me. There are elements from the movie that have partly become a reality. The Google Glass could be perceived as the first step to the heads-up display behind Iron Man's mask. Or his interaction with the voice-controlled Jarvis computer feels similar to the OK Google command we use on our smartphones. Although there are certain alterations I've made to accommodate this device in my life, the returns are worth the hassle. The Moto 360 mostly works, and that's good because this is an early adopter product, and I am an accommodating early adopter. You'll either love this or hate this. There is no middle ground because for 18,000 rupees, it isn't a bet that many people would be willing to take. The next Moto 360 might have a modern chipset, a better display, and better battery life, but it doesn't look like that day is anytime near. I made a bet and I walked away mostly happy.